Howdy y'all, it's Desktop Dave, and welcome to Microsoft Excel Lesson 7, the sum function. I told y'all a couple lessons ago that there is an easier way to add things in Excel rather than using cell referencing in the addition operator, and the sum function is that easier way. Anytime we use a function in Microsoft Excel, there are 5 basic steps, and we're going to demonstrate those steps as we add together the grades here in the total column. Step 1, start with the equal sign. Step 2, select our function by starting to type it. Now, Excel has a lot of different sum functions, but we just want this first and most basic one. Since it's already highlighted in blue, we can hit Tab, or we can double-click on it. Step 3, enter arguments. Arguments are the basic building blocks of any function. In the case of the sum function, its arguments are number 1, number 2, etc., all of the numbers we want to add together. Now we could have 5 arguments here because we have 5 grades, or we could just use one argument and select the range of grades. So we're going to go to the first grade and drag all the way up through our last grade, and that automatically gives us a range of cells right here, D3 through H3. Since we're just using one argument, we don't need a comma, and we can jump straight to the ending parenthesis. Now, using the sum function, we've added together all 5 grades. Then, instead of using the black cross to drag down, we're going to use the black cross to double click, and that's automatically going to fill it down to the end of our data. Now, when we go to the average column, we're going to calculate the average by hitting equals, referring to the cell, using our division operator, and manually inputting 5, which is the number of assignments. That gives us our average, and in the same way, we're going to go to the bottom right-hand corner, wait for the black cross to appear, double-click, and that fills our formula down to the end of the data. Now to calculate the final grade, we're going to use the sum function, but this time we're going to use 2 arguments. So, we're going to start with our equal sign, step 1, and then step 2, enter our function, and step 3, enter our arguments. Argument 1, number 1, which is currently bolded, is going to be our average. Then, step 4, separate our arguments with a comma. We're going to enter the extra credit. Notice how when I entered the comma and we moved from the first argument to the second argument was bolded. The bold argument indicates which argument you're currently on. Now, for this sum function, we only need these 2 arguments, so we're going to end with our closing parenthesis. And there we have our final grade. We're going to double click to get that down, and now we have in very easy steps our total, average, and final grades calculated. One last thing I want to highlight is notice here in cell L3 how we have a nice neat 92.40%. But if you look at the formula bar, that function is still there. If we ever wanted to edit the sum function, we could go to the formula bar, or we could double click on cell L3 and it all comes up again. So, this concludes lesson 7. Thank you, God bless, and always find new ways to excel in life.